Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Heather. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, elementary and high school age. Today I'm going to be doing my February reading update with you, so let's get into it. Okay guys, so I have not read nearly as many books as I did in January. However, I do feel like I've still gotten quite a few books read. I have read 8 books. 2 were nonfiction and 6 were fiction. Unfortunately, the fiction books have really not been that great. And I know that this is because I have been in a reading slump since I finished Onyx Storm. Now, Onyx Storm came out on January 21st, and I finished that book, I think on the 22nd, maybe. Yes, so I finished that book on the 22nd, and I did not read anything at all for almost 2 full weeks because I could not find anything that was interesting to me. Okay, so that's not entirely accurate. I was still reading samples, but nothing was catching my interest at all. And as a caveat, I also have been reading Kingdom of Ash with Emma, and we're not finished with it. It is very, very long. Let me see how long it is. So Kingdom of Ash is a beast. I'm actually reading it on the Kindle with Emma, but it is, and we're like on page, we're on chapter 100, I think. It's 984 pages. No, that's including acknowledgments. 980 pages. So I'm not done with this book, but I think that before the end of February, that is going to be finished. That is my goal anyways. I've been reading Kingdom of Ash, it seems like, for a very long time with Emma. We have to take breaks because it's so intense at the end. If you've never read the Throne of Glass series, I highly recommend it. I read it, I think, for the first time in maybe 2022 or 2021 and had never read it before. Loved it. I think that's her best series, Sarah J. Maas. The ACOTAR series I wasn't really that big of a fan of, so but I did enjoy Crescent City, and I do have my Crescent City books up there. But Throne of Glass is really good. So anyways, I have been in such a reading slump, and I have not been able to figure out what to read. And so I decided that I needed like a complete genre shift. I read a ton of fantasy and fantasy romance, and those are the books that I gravitate towards. I just like that mystical element of books. I like the world building and the character development in fantasy novels, but I wasn't able to find anything that was interesting. So instead I decided to go to nonfiction. And I am one of those people that I love fiction books. I really do. And I read a lot of fiction now. But the reason that I read a lot of fiction now is because I went through a period of time where I did not read any fiction. I went through a period of time after college where I didn't read anything except for Harry Potter. That was when book 5 came out the summer after I graduated, I think, and I had just got into Harry Potter for the first time, and so I started reading those books like as they were released. But I went through like a really big period of time where I didn't read anything. And then I went through a period of time when I was primarily reading nonfiction. All of these books here, all of these gardening books and home management books and goal setting books. I really, really love nonfiction and self-help books and business books. I like all of that stuff. It's very strange because I know that some people are like, oh, I cannot believe that you would recommend a nonfiction book to me. Anyways, so I stopped trying to read fiction and just started to pick up some nonfiction books. I only read 2 nonfiction books this month, but I am in the process of reading many nonfiction books, and a lot of them are actually rereads for me because it is primarily for content for my membership community and some other content that I am putting together on goal setting and such. So I did read I Want to Trust You, But I Don't by Lisa TerKeurst. This is her most recent book that she has released. I think it maybe came out last year, and I have read all of her other books and was kind of interested to see what this book would entail because of all of her personal history and what has gone on with her and her ex-husband and then getting remarried and stuff like that. It's not really a memoir. It is more of like a Christian living type book, but it was interesting. And I thought that she was going to come at this book from the perspective of like marriage and spousal relationships, and it wasn't like that at all. I did give it 4 stars. I think that it was really quite good. She did give some updates on her life now, which I thought was interesting. But overall, I thought that it was an encouraging book, not one that was like, oh, you have to read this, but I did enjoy it. And then the next book that I read that was also nonfiction was Be the Boss of Your Stuff by Ali Kasaza. This was a very short book. It is aimed towards kids. It's not really for adults. I have read her other books. I think she has a website like Declutter Like a Mother, I think is her website. And this was really interesting. It was a way, I was pre-reading this to see if it was something that I wanted to share with my kids, because decluttering is on my mind this year. It is something that I want to work on, but I also want to include my family in a lot of the decluttering that doesn't seem to happen. Everybody in my family really likes to hold on to their stuff, and I do like to hold on to stuff as well, but I'm more apt to just throw things away than everybody else is. And so I thought it was interesting really having an understanding around how long it takes to clean things and what you would rather be spending your time on and what are the most important things to you, and like all of that kind of stuff. So I do recommend that book. I gave it 4 stars. I will probably get a copy from the library so that I can include that in personal development with my older kids, and also include some of the content for Lucy as well. Although out of all 3 of my kids, Lucy, who is my youngest, is the one who is most organized and likes to keep her space very neat and tidy and keep things clean, and I really appreciate that. I wish that my older 2 were as inclined to do that. Then the next 6 books that I read, they were all kind of fantasy romance books, and they were just sort of okay. I gave most of them 3 stars. Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling, I gave 4 stars. I did really enjoy that book, but it was kind of strange. It was like all the way through the book, I was waiting for something to happen. I was just waiting. And then a lot of things happened right in the last, 20 to 30 pages of the book. And it is, it's the first book in a series. I don't know if the next book is out yet. I'm not inclined to continue with the series. I may try and see how the series ends, but overall it wasn't that exciting to me. It was just okay. So I don't even want to share any of the other books that I read because I just didn't really like them. The Empress by Kristen Cass was one of the books that I thought was going to be really good, that I would really enjoy. And it was kind of interesting. It was an interesting premise. It was like parallel universes, but it was almost like, I thought that it was going to be more high fantasy, but it ended up being, it had the voice to me of a rom-com, even though it was not a romantic comedy at all. That was not the case, but it was just the female main character seemed very young to me and bubbly, and I don't know. It was just a weird book, but I did not care for that much. And yeah, so the books that I'm really looking forward to is Rebel Witch, which is the second book in the Crimson Moth. I think it's a duology, so I'm hoping that it's a duology. And then I'm really just interested in the new Hunger Games book that doesn't come out until March. So overall, my month of reading has not been great. Yes, I've finished some books. I read a ton of samples and returned them on my Kindle. And then the books that I've mainly been reading recently are Atomic Habits, which is a reread, Essentialism, which I think I talked about last month as well. That is a reread. I've been rereading the 12-Week Year, picking and choosing things because I'm going to be focusing a lot on that 13th week, which the 12-Week Year talks about, and a lot about thinking days. I've been working through monthly reset days and how I structure them and the things that I focus on my monthly reset day over in my membership community. If you're interested, you can come check that out. So it's not really books that are new, and I haven't really found anything that I'm like, oh yes, I definitely want to read this. So my focuses right now are just on finishing Kingdom of Ash with Emma, and then reading some of those nonfiction books, and then hopefully I can get a copy of Rebel Witch from the library. I am on the request list, but the new book has not come into the library yet. It was just released, and I don't think they're going to get it until the end of February, so we will see. But that is my very short update for reading for the month of February. Short month, short reading update, and I'm hoping to pick up more books in March, but there just hasn't been anything really exciting. I do have a bunch of books on request from the library that just haven't come in because they're more new releases. And maybe once they come in, I will get into a better rhythm of reading, but I just haven't had that much desire. I'm still slightly in a reading slump from Onyx Storm. That's my reading update. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like more help and encouragement around goals and homeschooling and home management, I would love for you to come check out my membership community, like I mentioned before. That link is always in the description box. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.